Maalop Kin. Welcome, my name is George, and today we are going to talk about the art of simplification. Normally when you learn a language, it's quite common not to know how to express a lot of things at the very beginning, and you want to express everything, just like if it were your first or mother tongue. However, it is important to keep in mind that at the beginning, it is basically impossible to talk like a native speaker. So, I'm gonna give you a couple of examples so that you have an idea how to simplify the language in order to make things easier. On the one hand, sometimes it is important to simplify things because some of the structures you have in your first language might not exist in the other one. And sometimes you just need time in order to achieve a higher level and to be able to communicate in a similar way, the way you normally use, in a similar way. I'll give you a couple of examples in order to clarify, in order to explain this. Our first example is, I like you to call me more often. Instead of saying, I like you to call me more often, which is a structure I normally teach in B1, then we could also say, you call me, I'm happy. Or I'm happy, you call me. A little bit more elaborate could be, when you call me, I am happy. Or I am happy when you call me. And if you have a little bit more vocabulary, you could also say, I'm happy when you call me, but you don't call me every day. Or you don't call me very often. Or I'm happy when you call me, however, you don't call me every day. Another example would be, if I studied every day, I learn more. Well, first of all, in order to be able to construct this structure, you need to be familiar with the second conditional, and you obviously need to know simple past so that you know at least the regular and irregular forms of the verbs. So you could also use conditional one, which is one of the topics you learn at the beginning, not at the very beginning, but at least between A1 and A2. For instance, I don't study every day and I don't learn more. Another example is, if I study every day, I learn more, but I don't do it. Well, in a way, you are expressing the same thing. Another example would be, she realizes she doesn't pay much attention to her daughter. Well, in this case, you could also say, she's conscious she doesn't pay attention to her or to her daughter. Or, she understands she doesn't pay attention to her daughter. Or, she understands she has no time for her daughter. Or, she understands she doesn't have much time for her daughter. And finally, one of my favorite phrases, which I think is kind of difficult to master at the beginning, is, you shouldn't have said that. Well, you shouldn't have said that has to do with perfect modal verbs, and actually it's one of the topics you learn between B1 and B2. So, in order to be able to say it as a A1 or A2, you could also say, you say this, or you say that, and that's bad. Or you say that, and that was not good. Or you say that, and that was wrong. Or it was bad, it was wrong, it's not good, or it was not good, if you already know the simple past tense. As I said at the beginning, it is important to keep in mind that simplification can help you to avoid making mistakes, because when you want to use a more complicated or a more complex structure and you don't know the language very well, you may also take the risk to make a mistake because you don't know whether that structure exists in the other language, or even if the structure, even if it's understandable, it's not even said by native speakers. So that's all I have for you today. I really appreciate your time. If you have any comments, leave them in the comments box below. If you have some other examples, that would be great, so that you can also share some other examples and have different ideas. I can also help you simplify them. I mean, you can just leave a sentence you come up with, and I will help you trying to simplify the sentence, so that and we can actually, in a way, we can learn from each other. I mean, so that you also know how to simplify a very complex or difficult expression or sentence. I really appreciate your time. If you like the video, don't forget to give a like and to subscribe in order to receive updates whenever there is a new video. Thank you very much for your time and have a nice day.